Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Claire Spinks, a customer services manager whose specialist subject is Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy of books. Shajiv Wanigasekara, a consultant. He'll be answering questions on All Blacks rugby test matches. Ruth Josbury, a human resources supervisor whose subject is the golden age of MGM musicals. And Dom Walker, an e-commerce manager, his specialist subject, the life and works of the English poet John Clare. It is the ultimate examination of nerve and nous. Mastermind isn't about sweeping themes, but the nuts and bolts of a subject, a deep dive into knowledge. What do you really know? For our 4 contenders, a single place is available in the semi-finals. Who will claim it after 2 minutes of questions on their chosen specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge? Let's find out and ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name?
Claire Spinks.
And your occupation?
Customer Services Manager.
And your chosen specialist subject?
Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy.
Yes, Philip Pullman's fantasy novels Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife and The Amber Spyglass. In 2 minutes, starting now. What's the full name of Lyra's friend, the kitchen boy, whose disappearance precipitates her adventures in Northern Lights?
Roger Parslow.
Yes, the trilogy's title, His Dark Materials, comes from what famous epic poem quoted at the start of Northern Lights?
Paradise Lost.
Yes, in Lyra's world, all humans have demons, animals which are physical manifestations of their inner selves. The politician's widow, Mrs. Coulter, has what species of monkey as her demon?
A golden monkey.
Yes, what's the title of the chapter of Northern Lights in which Lyra first meets the exiled prince, Yorick Burnison, who becomes one of her most loyal helpers?
Pass.
The academic, Jotham Santelia, whom Lyra meets when she's imprisoned by the bears of Svalbard and who claims to have been imprisoned for malice and jealousy, introduces himself as the Regius Professor of what subject?
Cosmology.
Yes, an alethiometer is an instrument rather like a compass for reading the truth, and Lyra possesses one of only 6 ever made. In what city is it said to have been invented?
Prague.
Yes, which character who appears in all 3 books has a goose demon named Kaiser, who's described in Northern Lights as elegant and wild simultaneously and a cause of fascinated terror to Lyra?
Serafina Pekkala.
Yes, in The Subtle Knife, when Lyra first goes to find the scholar Dr. Mary Malone to question her about dust, what unit is named on the label pinned to the door?
Dark Matter Research Unit.
Yes, the beautiful, proud and pitiless Ruta Skadi, who wears the fangs of snow tigers that she has killed, is the queen of the witches from what country?
Latvia.
Yes, at the point when the boatman refuses to allow him to cross with Lyra to the land of the dead, her demon, Pantalaimon, is in the form of what animal?
A puppy.
No, it's a stoat. Mrs. Coulter kills her former lover, Lord Boreal, by poisoning his wine. What's the name of the witch who witnesses this event?
Lena Felt.
Yes, what's the name of the race of small people with poisonous spurs on their heels, some of whom work as spies for Lord Asriel?
Galavespians.
Yes, they're the Galavespians. And Claire, you just had the single pass. The title of the chapter of Northern Lights in which Lyra first meets the exiled prince, Yorick Burnison, the consul and the bear. And at the end of that round, you've scored 10 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name?
Shajiv Wanigasekara.
Your occupation?
Consultant.
And your chosen specialist subject?
All Blacks Test matches 2004 to 2015.
The test match is played by the New Zealand All Blacks rugby union side from 2004 to 2015 in 2 minutes. Starting now, which player kicked the All Blacks' only successful penalty in the 2011 World Cup final, helping them to an 8-7 victory over France?
Stephen Donald.
Yes, in November 2013, the All Blacks became the first team in the professional era to win every test in a calendar year, when Aaron Crudden's last gasp conversion gave them victory over which side?
Ireland.
Yes, in September 2006, which trophy was mistakenly presented to the South Africa captain John Smith after the Springboks had beaten the All Blacks in the Tri-Nations tournament but lost their 3-match series 2-1?
Pass.
After the 2015 World Cup final, which All Blacks player gave his winner's medal to a 14-year-old fan named Charlie Line, who'd run onto the pitch during New Zealand's lap of honour?
Sonny Bill Williams.
Yes, the All Blacks won the 2014 Rugby Championship with a game to spare, but lost their 22-game unbeaten run in the final match, thanks to a penalty kicked by which Springbok fly-half?
Andre Pollard.
No, Pat Lambie, in the first ever meeting between New Zealand and the Pacific Islanders in July 2004, which winger scored a try on his international debut to help the All Blacks to a 46-21 victory.
Rico Gear.
Yes, in July 2015, the All Blacks head coach Steve Hansen was appointed as an honorary high chief of a village in which country after New Zealand defeated them 25-16?
Samoa.
Yes, the All Blacks' end-of-year tour in 2014 started with a match against the USA, held at the home ground of which NFL team?
Chicago Cubs.
No, Chicago Bears. In 2008, the All Blacks played against England at Twickenham and for the first time competed for the trophy named after which New Zealander?
Hillary.
Yes, Edmund Hillary. In August 2014, which forward scored 2 second-half tries to help the All Blacks record their first-ever 50-plus points total against Australia?
Richie McCaw.
Yes, in a pool game at the 2007 World Cup, 13 different players each scored a try as the All Blacks beat which country by a margin of 95 points?
Portugal.
Yes, Dan Carter scored a total of, I've started so I'm finished, a total of 1,598 points for the All Blacks, but only once scored more than 30 points in a single game. This was in July 2005 against which team?
The British and Irish Lions.
Yes. And Shajiv, you had one pass in September 2006. It was the Freedom Cup that was mistakenly presented to the South Africa captain, John Smith. And at the end of that round, you've got 9 points.
Thank you very much.
And our next contender, please. And your name?
Ruth Josbury.
And your occupation?
Human Resources Supervisor.
And your specialist subject?
The golden age of MGM musicals.
It's the musicals produced between 1945 and 1955 by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, then one of the big 5 Hollywood film studios. In 2 minutes, starting now, the plot of which 1952 MGM musical is set against the background of the creation of talking pictures.
Singing in the Rain.
Yes, An American in Paris is constructed around the works of which composer who died just 14 years before the film's release and includes a dream sequence in which Oscar Levant plays part of his piano concerto.
George Gershwin.
Yes, immediately before Betty Hutton and Howard Keel sing Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better in Annie Get Your Gun, Hutton says the line, you couldn't give me a lesson in what specific activity?
Pass.
Andre Previn was credited along with which other musician for conducting the music for Kismet?
Saul Chaplin.
No, Jeff Alexander. In the middle of the song I Want to Go Back to Michigan in Easter Parade, Judy Garland stands and duets with one of the instrumentalists in the band. What instrument is he playing?
A trombone.
Yes, Triplets, a song from The Bandwagon, features 3 of the lead actors dressed as babies. These are Fred Astaire, Jack Buchanan, and which other performer?
Pass.
In Royal Wedding, Keenan Wynn plays the twin Klinger brothers who inexplicably have different accents. Irving is American. What's the name of his brother who speaks with an exaggerated English accent?
Pass.
The lyrics of the song June Bride in Seven Brides for Seven Brothers mention which 19th century German composer?
Mendelssohn.
Yes, in the stage show Brigadoon, Charlie Dalrymple's bride Jean has the surname McLaren before she marries him. But what different surname in the film?
Pass.
The song Bill in Showboat is an adjusted version of another song from a 1917 show, also with music by Jerome Kern, with original lyrics written by which English author?
Pass.
Which song from Kismet, based on part of Borodin's First Symphony, features the lyric, for the facile finger, listeners will linger?
A Stranger in Paradise.
No, it's gesticulate. Stuff in that seed, I know. Ruthie had 5 passes. The song Bill in Showboat is an adjusted version of another song. The original lyrics were from P.G. Wodehouse. In the stage show Brigadoon, Charlie Dalrymple's bride Jean has the surname McLaren before she marries him. The different surname in the film is Campbell. In Royal Wedding, Keenan Wynn plays the twin Klinger brothers who inexplicably have different accents. Irving is American. The name of his brother, who speaks an exaggerated English accent, is Edgar. Yeah, I know you knew that. Triplets, a song from The Bandwagon, features 3 of the lead actors dressed as babies. These are Fred Astaire, Jack Buchanan and Nanette Fabray. And in Annie, Get Your Gun, Hutton says the line, "You couldn't give me a lesson in long-distance spitting." And at the end of that round, Ruth, you've got 4 points.
Thank you.
And our final contender, please. And your name?
Don Walker,
And your occupation?
e-commerce manager.
And your specialist subject?
The life and works of John Clare.
The life and written works of the poet John Clare, who was born into a Northamptonshire peasant family and died in an asylum in 1864. In 2 minutes, starting now. The first poem in John Clare's collection, Poems Descriptive of Rural Life and Scenery, is named after which village where he was born in 1793?
Helpston.
Yes, which bookseller in Market Deeping sold Clare the blank book which he used to copy out his early verse?
R.B. Henson.
Yes, or J.B. Henson. One of Clare's poems describes what animal being baited as it falls as dead and kicked by boys and men, then starts and grins and drives the crowd again.
Badger.
Yes, which Cambridge undergraduate later, the dedicatee of Charles Dickens' Great Expectations, visited Clare's cottage in April 1820 to deliver a sonnet in the poet's honour?
Octavius Gilchrist.
No, Chauncey Hare Townsend, which retired admiral and patron encouraged Clare to moderate some of his more bawdy poems, such as Dolly's Mistake and My Mary.
Lord Radstock.
Yes, Clare joined a literary circle that included Charles Lamb, Alan Cunningham and Henry Carey, who all wrote for what periodical published by Taylor and Hesse?
The London Magazine.
Yes, in 1832, Clare moved from Helpston to which nearby village? To a cottage which was depicted in the frontispiece to his collection, The Rural Muse.
The Northborough.
Yes, an early sign of Clare's increasingly erratic behaviour came during a performance of what play in Peterborough, when he screamed at the stage, "You villain, you murderous villain."
The Merchant of Venice.
Yes, newspaper reports mistakenly suggested that Clare died in York in 1840, when he had in fact been admitted to what asylum in Essex run by Matthew Allen?
High Beach.
Yes, what was the name of the German Jewish émigré who in 1865, a year after the poet's death, wrote A Life of John Clare, which formed the basis for many subsequent biographies?
Martin.
Yes, Frederick Martin, in which poem that Frederick Martin erroneously identified as his final work did Clare write that "My friends forsake me like a memory lost"?
I Am.
Yes, what was the name of Clare's former schoolmaster who died when Clare was 16, inspiring him to write at least 2 poems about how such a worthy man had been buried in an unmarked grave?
Merrishaw.
Yes, which admirer and frequent correspondent owned a plaster cast of Clare's head, I've started so I'll finish, made by the phrenologist Jean de Ville, until it fell off her bookcase and smashed into pieces?
Eliza Emerson.
Yes, and Dom, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 12 points. And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 4 points is Ruth. In 3rd place with 9 points is Shajiv. In 2nd place with 10 points is Clare. And in 1st place with 12 points, it's Dom. So now the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account. And the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, then it's a tie break. So let's ask Ruth to join us again, please. So, Ruth, you start with 4 points, plenty of time. In the general knowledge round, 2.5 minutes. Coming up now. In the informal term am-dram for non-professional theatre performances, am is an abbreviation of what word?
Amateur.
Yes, what famous monumental arch in Paris stands at the western end of the Avenue des Champs-Élysées?
The Arc de Triomphe.
Yes. Who won the Best Actress Oscar for her portrayal of the writer Virginia Woolf in the 2002 film The Hours?
Nicole Kidman.
Yes, the French word touché, meaning touched, is used to acknowledge a scoring hit in which sport?
Fencing.
Yes, the mineral cinnabar is a sulfide of which metal?
Carbon.
No, mercury. Galloway Forest Park, claimed to be the largest forest park in the country, is in which of the home nations of the UK?
Scotland.
Yes, according to the title of a 1970 novel by Richard Bach, what type of bird is the character Jonathan Livingston?
An ostrich?
No, it's a seagull. Centuries of imperial rule in China ended in 1911 with the overthrow of which dynasty, whose reign had begun in 1644?
Ming?
No, Qing dynasty. What's the name of the BAFTA-winning actress who starred with Prunella Scales in the 1980s television series Map and Lucia and later played the amateur detective Miss Marple until Julia Mackenzie took over the role?
Geraldine McEwen?
Yes, during the 1920s and early 30s, the artist Marcel Duchamp became one of France's best players of what game?
Boule?
No, chess. In Greek legend, what was the name of Leander's lover, whom he visited by swimming across the Hellespont Strait by night?
Pass.
In the name of the professional body for doctors in the UK, what do the letters BMA stand for?
British Medical Association?
Yes, which group reached the top 5 in the UK albums chart in the 1980s with their first 3 releases, Kissing to be Clever, Colour by Numbers and Waking Up with the House on Fire?
Erasure?
No, Culture Club. The term Hafiz, derived from an Arabic word meaning to guard, is applied to a person who has learned which sacred text by heart?
Quran?
Yes, a Brannock device used by certain retailers measures the size of which parts of the body?
The head?
No, feet. What variety of cured bacon, commonly used to make a carbonara sauce, has a name that translates from Italian as little belly?
Pancetta?
Yes. Which former American president survived an assassination attempt in 1912 when he was shot in the chest while campaigning for re-election after the bullet was slowed down by a 50-page speech and a metal glasses case in his pocket?
Woodrow Wilson?
No, it's Theodore Roosevelt. And Ruth, you just had the single pass. In Greek legend, what was the name of Leander's lover whom he visited by swimming across the Hellespont Strait? It was Hero. And at the end of that round, Ruth, you've got a total of 13 points.
Thank you.
And next up, can we have Shajiv again, please? So, Shajiv, you start with 9 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 13 points. And you've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, starting now. Snout, hooter, and conch are informal terms for what facial feature?
The nose.
Yes, which major canal was closed for almost a week in March 2021 when a huge container ship called the Ever Given ran aground?
Suez.
Yes, a horse must be what age to run in the Epsom Derby?
5 years.
No, 3. The short orchestral composition titled In the Hall of the Mountain King is an extract from a suite of music by which Norwegian composer?
Pass.
In geometry, what name is given to an angle that measures between 90 and 180 degrees?
Obtuse.
Yes, the American rapper, singer and actress Dana Elaine Owens, who was nominated for an Oscar for her performance as Mama Morton in the 2002 film Chicago, is better known by what regal-sounding name?
Queen Latifah.
Yes, an armoured Roman gladiator known as a mamillo was equipped with a shield and what other weapon?
A net.
No, a sword. In the 2021 television drama series Time, written by Jimmy McGovern, which actor plays the prisoner Mark Cobden?
Sean Bean.
Yes. The name of which district of southwest London goes before the word omnibus in a dated phrase once used in legal context to refer to a typical reasonable person?
Clapham.
Yes, the song Mary's Boy Child has been a UK Christmas #1 single for both Harry Belafonte in 1957 and which group in 1978?
Boney M.
Yes, the historical regions of Pontus and Cappadocia are now part of which modern-day country?
Italy.
No, Turkey. The best-selling children's books Slime and Codename Bananas, both published in 2020, are by which actor and television personality?
David Walliams.
Yes, in the abbreviation LBV, often seen on the label of a bottle of port. The letter V stands for what word?
Vintage.
Yes, what 2014 film, a coming-of-age story directed by Richard Linklater, was shot in short sections over a period of 12 years, using the same actors, showing the gradual passing of time?
Boyhood.
Yes, a breed of sheep is named after which range of limestone hills in England that extends for about 50 miles northeast from Bath?
Pass.
The American scientist John Bardeen was awarded a share of a Nobel Prize in 1956 and again in 1972. Both times the award was in which discipline?
Chemistry.
No, physics. Which military alliance is known in French by the acronym OTAN, spelt O-T-A-N?
NATO.
Yes, a steel sculpture by Jeff Koons which broke the auction record for the most expensive artwork by a living artist when it was sold for more than $91 million in May 2019 is a depiction of what animal?
A sheep.
No, it's a rabbit. Shajiv, you had 2 passes. A breed of sheep is named after which range of limestone hills in England? It's the Cotswolds. In the short orchestral composition titled In the Hall of the Mountain King, Edvard Grieg composed it. And at the end of that round, Shajiv, you've got 20 points.
Thank you.
Next up, it's Claire. So, Claire, you start with 10 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 20 points. And you've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, starting now. What French word meaning pink describes wine that is pink in colour?
Rosé.
Yes, early in his career, the American actor and dancer Patrick Swayze appeared as the character Danny Zuko in the Broadway production of what musical?
Greece.
Yes, which planet's orbit lies between those of Jupiter and Uranus?
Saturn.
Yes, Justified in 2002 and Man of the Woods in 2018 were UK hit albums by which American singer and former member of the band NSYNC?
Justin Timberlake.
Yes, the British athlete Dina Asher-Smith won a gold medal at the 2019 World Championships over what sprint distance?
200 metres.
Yes, which weekly photographic magazine was launched in New York City in 1936 and became renowned for its coverage of overseas conflicts such as the Korean and Vietnam Wars?
Time.
No, Life magazine. In the abbreviation IQ, referring to a measure of human intelligence, the letter Q stands for what word?
Quotient.
Yes, which American actor and comedian formed a successful on-screen partnership with Dean Martin, making more than 15 films with him between 1949 and 1956?
Abbott.
No, Jerry Lewis. Oxford bags are a style of what garment?
Trousers.
Yes, which Hindu deity, often known as the Preserver, is said to have numerous avatars, including Krishna and Rama?
Pass.
In the title of an animated television series first broadcast in 1967, what's the name of the aliens from Mars who were the adversaries of Captain Scarlet?
The Mysterons.
Yes, the Paralympic Games have their origins in an archery competition for injured ex-servicemen and women organised in 1948 by Sir Ludwig Gutmann, a neurologist at which English hospital?
Stoke Mandeville.
Yes, which British author wrote the 1915 semi-autobiographical novel Of Human Bondage about an affair between a young medical student and a waitress?
Pass.
Which poisonous chemical element has the symbol AS?
Arsenic.
Yes, the city known in German as Königsberg is the main city of which Russian exclave that borders Poland and Lithuania?
Belarus.
No, Kaliningrad. Which member of the British royal family has a son called Tom and a daughter named Laura from her first marriage?
Sarah Chatto.
No, the Duchess of Cornwall. Which island in the Mediterranean Sea was ceded to France in 1768 after a period of local rebellion against Genoese rule?
Corsica.
Yes. What 1946 play by Terence Rattigan was based on the real-life case of George Archer Shee? I've started, so I'll finish. Who was expelled from Naval College after he was accused of stealing a 5-shilling postal order from a fellow cadet's locker?
The Dirty Scoundrel.
No, the Winslow Boy. And Claire, you had 2 passes. Somerset Maugham is the author who wrote the 1915 semi-autobiographical novel Of Human Bondage. And Vishnu is the Hindu deity, often known as the Preserver. And at the end of that round, Claire, you've got 21 points. And finally, let's have Dom again, please. So, Dom, you start with 12 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Claire's 21 points. And you've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Starting now. In England, Wales and Northern Ireland, the summer bank holiday falls on the last Monday of which month?
August.
Yes. Cochon is the French word for what farm animal?
Sheep.
No, pig. Which Manchester City footballer was honoured with an MBE in the 2021 Queen's Birthday Honours list just days before scoring a winning goal for England against Croatia at the European Championships?
Raheem Sterling.
Yes, which Asian capital city stands on the Yamuna River?
Bangkok.
No, New Delhi. In 1603, which English explorer was imprisoned for treason and spent 12 years in the Tower of London, where he wrote his book, The History of the World?
Walter Raleigh.
Yes. What British band won a Brit Award for their 2007 UK #1 album, Favourite Worst Nightmare, which featured the hit singles Brian Storm and Fluorescent Adolescent?
Arctic monkeys?
Yes, in the context of broadcasting technology, what do the letters HD stand for in the abbreviation HD TV?
High definition.
Yes, the pollex is the scientific name for which part of the human hand?
The thumb.
Yes, which ballet dancer who defected to Canada from the Soviet Union in 1974 became famous in the West for his performances with the American Ballet Theatre and in films such as The Turning Point?
Rudolf Nureyev.
No, Mikhail Baryshnikov. During the English Civil War, which parliamentarian general rose to be commander-in-chief of the new model army and defeated royalist forces at the Battle of Naseby?
Oliver Cromwell.
No, Thomas Fairfax. What name derived from the Greek word for tree is given to any of the thin filaments that project from a nerve cell and transmit impulses to the cell body?
Dentricles.
No, dendrite. What long-running television debating program was first broadcast in 1979?
Questions.
With Robin Day as the host and the politician, Michael Foot and the writer Edna O'Brien among the panellists?
Question time.
Yes, question time. Chorlton, Whalley Range and Levenshulme are council wards in which city in the northwest of England?
Manchester.
Yes, which German filmmaker and Nazi propagandist who lived to the age of 101 is noted for her two-part documentary film of the 1936 Berlin Olympics?
Leni Riefenstahl.
Yes, for a 50th wedding anniversary, it's traditional to give gifts made from what metal?
Gold.
Yes, Idris I was king of which North African country from 1951 until his overthrow in a military coup in 1969?
Libya.
Yes, what's the name of the member of the Northern Ireland Assembly who, in May 2021, was elected to succeed Arlene Foster as the leader of the Democratic Unionist Party, but resigned just 3 weeks later?
James Smith.
No, Edwin Poots. The hill known as Arthur's Seat is a landmark in which Scottish city?
Edinburgh.
It is in Edinburgh. And Dom, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've done it. 24 points.
Thank you.
So let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 13 points, it's Ruth. In third place with 20 points, it's Shajiv. In second place with 21 points, it's Claire. And in first place with 24 points, it's Dom, which means that he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. If you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
When I sat down in the black chair for the first time, I felt very nervous, but also strangely relaxed at that moment, like suddenly it was all going to come together under the spotlight. I am.
Yes.
High definition.
Yes.
Edinburgh.
Yes. You've done it. 24 points.
Thank you. I've been a fan of Mastermind for some time. The calibre of this show is so high. Everybody knows it. Every man, woman, dog, cat on the street knows Mastermind. It's a real test, it's a real challenge, and it's just a privilege to be here.